Spiral Verse, Mid-Horizon. Megastructure, Prologue, The Spine of the World, by Trevion Rivers. It rose from the horizon like a god's unfinished thought, a silhouette so vast that clouds shredded themselves against its flanks. The Eternum spine was not a city, not a tower, not a ship, but all of those things folded into one incomprehensible shape. From 1,000 kilometers away, its curved edges caught the sun, casting gold and copper ribbons across the upper atmosphere. From space, it resembled a crown pierced into the planet's surface, each segment a self-contained biome connected by corridors thick as mountain ranges. The base of the spine was anchored in an artificial trench that swallowed oceans. Entire port cities clung to its submerged foundations like barnacles, feeding trade routes that ferried rare ores, foodstuffs, and technologies from the continents beyond. Above the waterline, the first 100 stories were nothing but steel lattices, like the exposed ribs of a mechanical leviathan. Massive freight elevators, the size of apartment blocks, inched their way upward, days-long ascents for those unwilling or unable to pay for faster transit. From there, the structure broadened, each layer a ring the width of a small country. The outer rings were chaotic, a labyrinth of trade bazaars, black markets, and open-air factories. Here, merchants hawked crystalline fuel rods mined from asteroid colonies, vats of genetically engineered proteins, and relics smuggled from pre-collapse ruins. The air was thick with the smell of ionized metal. Salt water carried on high winds, and the burnt sweet aroma of spicewood fires. Above them, the middle rings glittered like a different world entirely. Enclosed beneath kilometer-high glass domes, these districts were reserved for the wealthy factions that controlled the flow of resources. Forests with trees older than recorded history grew alongside polished white marble palaces. Entire rivers curved through floating gardens, and private hovercraft drifted lazily beneath simulated skies. The temperature never changed here. Weather was programmed like art. At the spine's heart lay the central spire, a single needle of black alloy that pierced upward beyond sight. Its surface drank light, reflecting nothing, giving the eerie impression of a hole in reality. Within, the political and economic cores of the known world operated under strict factional control. Envoys from the Steelwater Syndicate, the Solar Cartel, and the Glass Crown Conglomerate met in chambers suspended above yawning mechanical chasms, where power was traded like coin and betrayals were arranged over wine older than most nations. Above all else loomed the Upper Crown, rarely seen by anyone not born into its ruling bloodlines. Here, the air was thin, almost sterile, and the curvature of the world could be seen bending away in every direction. Towers floated freely, held aloft by anti-gravity anchors, drifting between platforms lined with gardens of impossible geometry. Rumors whispered that the Upper Crown contained the World Vault, the sum total of every known resource, blueprint, and archive since humanity's first spark. The structure's scale was more than physical. It shaped culture, law, even the weather. Its shadow stretched for hundreds of kilometers, creating permanent twilight zones where crops grew in strange patterns and nocturnal creatures adapted to an endless dusk. Entire religions revolved around the spine's presence. Some worshipped it as the great engine of ascension, others as a prison for the earth itself. No one knew exactly how long it had stood. The oldest records claimed it was built over centuries, each generation adding to its height. Others whispered it was found, not made, its foundations predating humanity's first civilizations. The truth was locked away in the hidden decks, far below the base, where access was sealed behind layers of ancient security. For those who lived outside its reach, the spine was a dream or a curse. For those within, it was the only reality they knew, a world where life and death were decided by which ring you could afford to inhabit. And for a select few, it was an opportunity, because within its impossible expanse, among its countless hidden chambers and shifting alliances, power was never truly stable. And where power wavered, there was always room for someone daring enough to take it.